Everybody, Wayne Knight. Oh, so good. I'm Paul Draper. I'm going to be your moderator today. Like you said a minute ago, line up over here and we'll get to your questions real soon. Now, Wayne, I want to know the thing that when I walked over to your booth that people say to you all the time. I saw people quote the Seinfeld quote. They'd go, "Hello, Newman." So all of us, let's get it out of our system on the count of three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello, strangers.
So we all love you, of course, for Seinfeld, yes? We all love you, of course, for Jurassic Park, yes? We all love you for the myriad of roles in the past and coming up that we'll talk about a tiny bit. But
do you love me for my personal work?
Yes.
The volunteer work. The work I do in old people's homes.
Yeah. Veterans communities, the saving dogs from trees, all that work. So, my question I had, let's start with Seinfeld because that's one of my favorites. Is tell me about that journey. You didn't originally go in as Newman, did you?
Well, I mean, I was auditioning for the character, but I didn't know what the character was, and it was the episode. The thought of the episode was, how long do you have to wait if somebody is in a coma before hitting on their girlfriend? That was the subject of the episode, and it's somebody in Jerry's building. He's gotten into a motorcycle accident. He's in a coma, and he's a friend of mine, and we're sitting in his hospital room waiting for him to come out of his coma, and Jerry hits on his girlfriend. And I threaten to tell on Jerry, and Jerry bites me off with a Drake's cake. Okay, so the sight of Michael and myself sitting side by side in the chairs, and that was kind of it. You know, it was like some scene from the 1939 World's Fair with a needle thing and a big round ball. And
yeah.
It just, we were funny together, and so they brought me back, and then it began to become this recurring thing,
right,
until one specific episode where it went nuts, and Michael was like, "I'm not so sure I want to be in this too," and so they had to come up with a new idea of how to bring me back, and that was Newman as Nemesis,
yes,
Newman as evil Newman at the door.
And the writers liked him so much, they kept bringing the character back, right? There's a lot of that in TV and film, that if the writers love what you look like, what you do, choices you make, you get to come back again.
Yes.
So then the Jurassic Park film, where you get to be the real villain. I went out and I had to get myself let's see if I can pull it out of my pocket, a can of Barbasol that has all the little pieces in it. That's, people buy this fun stuff.
I know. I think it'd be better if they were buying it from me. Yes, indeed. What's amazing to me is people come to me who have milled these things at home.
Oh, made their own.
Made their own and made them exactly as the prop was, and and they go, "Look," and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what to do." But it is pretty damned impressive. It was a great prop.
Oh, fantastic.
What I don't understand is why it was a MacGuffin that was planted in the first movie and never came back.
Never came back.
Neither did I.
No. It deserves to be found.
So do I.
Thank you. Do you have one of these?
No, I don't.
No? Can I give you this one afterwards?
No, you
can't.
No,
I can't. Good answer. We have the honesty. He has a simple life of just what he needs.
A simple life.
A simple life. Now, my friend actor Jim Beaver, he wanted to say that he loved working with you on Third Rock.
Yes, I love Jim. He was a lovely guy.
He wanted me to bring it up to you and say what a good actor you are to work with on stage, that you play well with others, that you really bring a scene to life in a way others don't.
That's very sweet. I mean, His wife was the casting director on that show, and
Right.
I remember Jim very well.
Oh, that's so good. Well, let's start opening up to questions. Our first question, if you'd come from the side here, you can line up over to the side to our microphone. So good. Thank you.
Hi. I started watching Seinfeld probably a little too young for when I started, but
How old were you?
honestly, probably like
too
six,
young.
probably like 6 or 7 at the time. But so Jerry and Newman, especially in comedy, was one of my first nemesi. And I'm curious if you have any favorite arch rivals in fiction or in real life, whether it's sports or whatever, that you really look fondly on.
Oh, well, I think in general, it's like sports rivalries that you are most familiar with. But in terms of nemesis I think it was probably, in my early life, it was the Kennedy-Nixon debate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't sought to be the nemesis of several people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for some reason, people find me someone they don't necessarily want to come to the door.
Thank you.
Well, and I think part of that is you have this very nice, warm kindness to you, but you can squeeze it,
Oh, I could run for president.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Next up.
Hi, I would like to ask, what was it like working for Space Jam and the set?
It was the weirdest job you've ever had.
Space Jam.
Let me give you an idea of what my day was like. You show up, and the soundstage is about the size of this ballroom, and the walls are all green. And there are little red tennis balls all over the walls to be markers to say where you are in space. The floor is green. The ceiling is green. There are people on their hands and knees wrapped in little green ninja suits that with their eyes and faces covered. They are from the Groundlings. They are improv actors playing cartoon characters. I am walking through an empty space talking to people who are wearing little green ninja outfits.
That is awesome.
That was the experience. You don't get to meet another actor. You don't get to see a prop. You don't get to see anything. Then they open a door and they shove in a basketball player. It was the weirdest damn job I ever had in my life.
Thank you.
Normally, an actor is informed by the set, by the props, by the other actors. Here, it had to all come from the imagination. Next question, please.
First off, thanks for being here. As a Seinfeld fan, it's a real thrill to be able to say, quote unquote, that I met Newman.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. My question is about how your life changes as you get a role like this, also memorable roles with Space Jam and Jurassic Park. What are some ways in which kind of your life changes, both kind of, and also how does it stay the same?
Well, I mean, in general, I live in Southern California, so walking around at the Trader Joe's as somebody who's been on TV is not that big a deal as it would be in cities where that's not common. The big problem as an actor is that you get to be iconic as a character, and everybody sees you as that character. They don't see you as an actor. And so, like, if you're a musician and you do one song that everybody really likes that song, they don't necessarily think of you as that song. They think of you as the person who played that song. But as a character, you become that. And so it limits you in some ways in terms of the subsequent roles that you get, because people don't think of you as a warm, loving dad. And so you don't necessarily get that job. But the other side of it is people in general like you because they recognize you. And in the beginning, you're like, well, stop that, stop it. And then you go, oh, well, that's all right. And then eventually you go, thanks. What's wrong with people liking you? It's okay.
Thank you.
So what's a character very out of cast, very out of your typecast that you would like to play? Is there a type of character you wish some film would see you as?
Well, I used to play intelligent people in government and in business and so forth prior to playing feral lunatics.
Right.
So I'd like the opportunity to go back and forth because I think that what you want to be able to do is fill out a large film with big names and play people who can support them.
Right.
And what you need to do is not take away from them. So if people see you and they go, "Oh, look, it's Newman." Right. There was that happened to George Reeve, after Superman.
He was Superman forever.
Right, and then he did From Here to Eternity or something like
Right.
that, and everybody went, "Look, it's Superman."
Right. Well, I mean, that was the same thing. I was lucky. I opened for Jason Alexander in his Vegas show for a little bit. And he said that a director in college said to him, "I believe there is a great Hamlet in you, but you are going to play,
Right, Harvey
clowns."
Schmidlap.
Right, you're going to play clowns. And that he said he wasn't a naturally funny man, but he had to learn how to be funny because of his look.
Yeah.
So you played these serious, intelligent characters because you're a serious, intelligent person. Did you also have funny as a core to you, or was that something you had to learn?
Oh, sure. No, I mean, look, I grew up a fat kid.
Yeah.
And so you better find funny if you don't have it. You know what I mean? You might as well, you want to enjoy your life and you might as well laugh at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But also, I loved comedy as a kid. I would watch comics. I would sneak to watch The Tonight Show when I was a kid.
Right.
And like my mother would fall asleep on the couch and I would sneak out of the room and watch the monologue and stuff. So, it was always a part of me. It was always something I wanted to do.
Was do comedy as well. So
Yeah.
beautiful. Next question, please.
Yeah, hi, Wayne. I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. I've always wondered, I know this is kind of a specific question, but when they revealed Kramer's first name, was the cast aware ahead of time, or did you find out during filming?
No, we found out during filming.
You did? Okay.
It's like this big...
Big reveal.
It's one of these things that like, oh my God, what's going to happen? All right. Who cares? I didn't think it necessarily paid off.
Okay.
But and I did not want to know. And what kills me is that Newman has a business card that's like a Newman, U.S. Postal Service, and there is no last name, no first name. It's just Newman.
That's right.
That's the card. They never came up with his name, so that's cool.
Thank you.
Do you have any guesses to Newman's first name?
No.
No. Excellent. Next question, please.
Hi, Wayne. As a big Jurassic Park fan, it's so surreal, seeing you right now. So, thanks for being here. You're awesome. How did the shooting process for Jurassic Park go? Was it good, bad, or?
It was, it's one of the greatest things that ever happened to me and also just a miserable experience. Because I was at my apex weight, 327 and a half pounds at the time. And in tight polo shirts being rained on and running around frenetically and then getting killed. But the worst part of it was being killed because you're sliding down waterfalls, falling on your face, climbing up the thing, and they're shooting at you with different forms of goop. The stuff that shot me in the back is made of a petroleum distillate. And then when I turn, the stuff from Alien, Methicil, that stretchy stuff was on the shoulder. And then when they get into the close-up, there's a guy who now lives across the street from me who had an air rifle filled with dyed black KY jelly inches away from my face and told me that if I blinked, he'd have to do it again. So the camera's right behind him. He's got and I've got to look without, flinching, looking, whatever. And he's got to shoot me between the eyes with the dyed black KY jelly, at which point I scream. We had to do 2 takes. Spielberg said to me, this is a PG film. That was an R scream. And I said, you have somebody shoot you in the face with an air rifle of KY jelly, see how you scream. So I had to modify the scream a little bit on the second one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So you talked about the polo shirt and wearing the costume. There is a fan theory that your costumes were based on Goonies. Any truth to that?
Actually, it was based on an Aristophanes play.
Oh, really?
No, it wasn't based
Trojan
on
women?
Yeah.
All right. Next up.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color?
We're now in Col Nidre.
Deep burgundy.
Deep burgundy. Add it to his Wikipedia page now. That's the...
Mr. Knight, it's always nice to see you. You know, I mean, like, I've been a huge fan of you for years and all that. What can you tell us about your time on Toonsylvania?
Oh, okay. Well, Toonsylvania was a very bizarre thing because this was something that I was told that Steven Spielberg wanted me to do. And I'm like, okay. And it's the story of Igor and the Frankenstein monster in Frankenstein.
His name's Phil.
Yes, but it's from Igor's point of view, as opposed to, and it turned into a musical show as well. We had to come up with a musical number each week, and it was Brad Garrett played Phil, and oh my God, my brain just went on who was Frankenstein.
Oh, Dr. Vic. Dr. Vic was played by David Warner.
Oh my God, yes, David Warner, brilliant actor, and so we're having an incredible amount of fun doing this thing, and then there was changes at DreamWorks or whatever, and it evaporated. But I had loads of fun doing that. There was a challenge each week, having to come up with this musical number and practice a musical number for a cartoon.
Well, thank you.
How is the process different being a voice actor, which is acting? I mean, you're emoting so much, versus a on-screen or stage actor?
Well, when you're doing voice acting for a feature film, you think you're going to be acting with the people who you're engaging with, and you're not. Right. You're in a room by yourself. They're behind the glass. You've got your cans on, and you're just doing your lines, one to the next to the next. Sometimes they're reading you in, sometimes they're not. You come back and do it over and over and over again as the film is going on. So I did Tarzan, and we're at the premiere of Tarzan on the red carpet, and Rosie O'Donnell comes up to me and puts her arm around me and says, "Pretend we're best friends." Yeah. We had never met.
Never met, and yet your characters spent an enormous amount of time together.
I know.
Yeah, amazing.
And the other side of that is that when you do voice, you put your entire self into it, and you will do the entire film in one session, and then you come back and do the entire film again. You don't do scenes by scenes. You do all of it. All of it. Yeah.
Wow, all of it in one sitting rather than...
And all of the emotions of wherever you are in the movie.
Wow.
So it's taxing, but a lot of fun, and you don't have to change clothes.
Right. Like doing a Zoom call. Next question.
Hello. Third Rock from the Sun. Oh my gosh, it is so. I think it's very underrated because it is hilarious. Yeah. In my opinion, yes.
Applaud that.
Oh my gosh. Like in my opinion, it's better than Seinfeld. But oh my gosh. But like your character's relationship with Sally. Like if I saw it from afar, I'd be like, they're not together. That can't work. Why do you think it works so well? Like as those characters together in a relationship.
Kristen is so strong as a comedic actress. Okay. And she's freaking powerful.
Yeah.
And it took like a little boulder to be her boyfriend, you know? I mean, I think she'd wipe out anybody else. And I think she kind of picked me. We had a scene in the, where they brought somebody into the police station, and we just kind of caught eyes and started this process. Okay. And it was so funny to us both that it just became something. And the Turners, Bonnie and Terry Turner, wanted to write a show for me, and they wanted to hold on to me. And they said, would you do a few seasons of Third Rock while we wait, because we can't do it now? And I'm like, yeah. And so I came over there, and it was literally the best job I ever had. John Lithgow is one of the nicest people I've ever met. He sends me a hand-drawn Christmas card every year. We correspond with each other. That's awesome. He's really a great guy.
Best known for Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah. Oh
And soon Dumbledore.
And soon Dumbledore. I
But,
thought that was interesting. You talking about typecasting. He made that public statement that he almost didn't take the role because he's worried that, like Alec Guinness is known for the rest of his rest of eternity from Star Wars, that Jonathan Lithgow will only be known for Dumbledore.
Well, I think that at his age, it's when you make that choice, you
Right.
realize that this is, whole generations are only going to know you from
As
this.
Dumbledore. Right.
And I guess World According to Garp is gone.
Right, that's right. Well, according to Garp. Next, thanks so much.
Yeah. Hi. It's kind of funny how you voiced both Al McWiggin and the Emperor's Zurg from the Toy Story series.
know.
And it's kind of funny how you voiced both of them. But if you had to choose, like, what type of villainous or whatever it is, both of those villains of yours, like, which one would you say would be your most favorite one to voice of?
Well, it's interesting because like doing Tantor in Tarzan they want your voice really, because if you're known on television as somebody, they don't want you to hide your voice in a character necessarily. But Tantor wasn't me. It wasn't the right character. So I had to come up with a character for it, and I had to fight to be that character. And I had fun doing the character. And I think that when you start out as an actor, you really want to immerse yourself in characters, be able to put on the cloak of somebody else. And then if you do well enough for people to like you, they want you to repeat things that you've done before. Right. And so it's kind of a conundrum, But I enjoy doing the feature animation and strip animation. I enjoy doing an animated show called I played Cat Scratch, where I played Mr. Blick. I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Yeah, I met Rob Paulson one time.
Oh, yeah, Rob's a great guy. I loved Rob. Anyway.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So it is a strange conundrum because as a starting actor, you want to be someone who's transformative, someone that can be.
Yeah, but I mean, look at me. How transformative am I going to be?
Now when people hire you, like you said, they want the audience to go, "Oh, I know him."
Right.
They want that star power behind that character, and so the characters are still unique, but they stay within the same register. Yes, Waldo.
Yes. You find me at a convention center and out of White Stripes concert.
Yes, found you.
All right. I like the movie director Jerry Zucker. He's done, of course, Airplane and Top Secret's an underrated movie too. And I remember he directed Rat Race.
Right.
So you like working with him in Rat Race? I love Rat Race.
The problem, what's interesting, Jerry was very good at tricking me into acting out of my ass. Because this was a period of time where I was trying to clean up my act, do more serious things, do different things, try not to do all the same things over and over again. And he's like, fine, now just do one take where, you're blowing up out of your ass or whatever. And I'm like, all right. And so when I saw the movie, all of those takes were stitched together. Yes. And that's the movie.
That was cool. You, Mr. Bean and stuff.
Well, it took me a while to win over Rowan. Rowan didn't know me. Yeah. And he wasn't sure who I was or if I could be funny. And then as he saw that I could be funny, he warmed up to me.
Oh,
best of both worlds.
So good. So what, if you could give us some advice on being funny, is there any advice you can give to people on the key to comedy for you?
The key to me is simple, very, very simple. If you have an intention, you just crank that intention up to 10. If you're hot, you're very hot. If you're scared, you're really scared. Whatever the hell you are, you just ratchet it up. And it's funny. Human emotions are funny. Just play them straight, but ratchet it up.
Give it a 10. Spider-Man.
Well, first time I saw Jurassic Park, I was wondering in my head, what was it like with voicing your role?
What was it like? Say again?
Voicing your role.
What was it like with your role? How was it embodying that person?
Well, what I was playing and what you were seeing were two different things. What I was playing was resentment because they were overlooking me. They weren't thinking I was important. So I had to do something to them to make sure I made some money. So I was a nasty guy. And then the weather didn't treat me well. And then a dinosaur didn't treat me well. So I was laughing.
Man versus man, man versus nature, man versus God, all of it. All of it in one character. Next up. Thank you so much for setting that.
Hello, Mr. Knight. So, on the topic of typecasting, were there ever any roles you had to say no to because they were too goofy or similar to Newman, especially when Seinfeld ended? Because I know actors like Jason Alexander struggled with that a lot.
Yeah, I think that what happens is the key to Seinfeld is not that the characters were extreme, but that the writing was incredible. And so what happens is you get offered things that are similar in character, and the writing isn't incredible. And you go, no thanks. Because anything that's well written, you can take it to the wall. You can go as far as you want with it. And it will still be funny because it's still true. And the best thing to do is aim to play something truthful, whatever it is. And if it's funny, if it's truthfully funny, do it. And if it's not truthfully funny, you're not going to make it funny if it's not funny on the page.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, yeah.
I have a second question, if that's
sure,
okay.
sure.
Bit shorter. Out of curiosity, when it comes to your more serious roles, which one is your favorite?
Actually, my favorite role was in a sort of comedy, which is on Broadway. It was Art on Broadway, and I played a character, Yvonne. And I had this 5.5-page single-space breakneck monologue, and at the end of it, I had to break into racking sobs 8 times a week. And I got a review that said from the Times that seeing this, you don't believe that Newman ever existed. And that was the greatest compliment that I could get, even though I don't want Newman obliterated, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But, you know, it was just the idea that you could throw yourself into something and people could see you as that character instead of, you know, as a previous character.
That's true and very fantastic, because I think that's hats off to you when you pull that off. Thank you very much, Mr. Knight. Have a nice day.
Now, the mythos behind Art was that the writer wrote it as a serious piece and it became a comedy once it was put in front of an audience. Is that true?
Well, actually, I mean, it's like Chekhov.
Yeah.
You know, is it funny or is it not funny? Is it a comedy? What's the intent?
Right, right.
And I think the intent is human experience about art is comedic.
Right.
But people are serious about it.
Right.
So it's both.
So the more serious you took it,
Right.
the funnier it was.
Yes, because you're idiots.
Because you're idiots.
It's a white painting and people
It's
are
a white
arguing about
painting,
it,
right.
you know, with their lives.
Yes.
You know.
Very good. Next question. You should read Art if you haven't. It's a
Or
very
see it,
interesting
don't
play.
read
Or
it.
see it.
Yeah.
All right, so I missed the first 2 questions, so I hope this wasn't already asked. Are you bummed out that Nedry's death was less brutal and gory in the movie, or are you kind of relieved? Like, would you have preferred it that way? Or
Well, what kills me is like, you know, I see, oh, look, the death's going to be less gory. And then they like shoot things in my face and throw me off a cliff. You know, I mean, so it was pretty bad. So if I got the one that was in the book where they would grab me by the skull and lift me and then disembowel me, I think it might have been just as bad. So no, that's fine.
Would have been R. Would have been
That's
R.
all right. I'll take the one I got.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How did you manage to get cast for Jurassic Park? What was that process for you?
You would not really believe it. I got cast for Jurassic Park supposedly first in the movie after Steven Spielberg saw Basic Instinct. He saw me sweating there, looking up Sharon Stone's dress and said, "What if that were a dinosaur?" I never auditioned for the role. It's the first role I was offered, and it was from Steven seeing me. I guess, when it's just like looking for dinosaurs. You're looking for the world's fattest person who can act. There he is!
There he is.
Get him! No, I don't know. But that is how it came about. And my agent at the time said, "Are you sitting down? Steven Spielberg wants you to be in this film." And have you? And I had read the book and knew. And the only thing that surprised me was how surprised my agent was. Not good.
Thank you.
Now, you joke, find America's fattest guy that can act. I mean, Louis Anderson, who did shows in Vegas a lot, he said to me, "Oh, Paul, Americans love a fat guy." Right? Because I'm a fat guy. But as you've chosen to be healthier in life, has that changed your experience in film and TV?
Well, I mean, I think that the things that being overweight bring you, and good and bad, change if you're not overweight.
Right.
And what you find is the ease with which people can ridicule you goes down.
Way down. Right.
Right. Which they don't like.
Right.
And if what they want is for you to be in a position whereby I can ridicule you and I can marginalize you and I can make you a lesser person, then I have a harder time doing it. And I'd rather cast somebody else who's maybe ugly or got a limp.
Right. And so instead, this has maybe given you more opportunities to play.
As long as people, I think what this is in the business is a product of less casting.
Right.
So you have less casting directors and you have less people giving input to directors. And so people are commoditizing actors and buying them as what they do as opposed to as actors. So if you're seeing, like I get my best luck from casting directors who knew me from stage or from who know me from other things.
Right.
And then
who know your work.
Yeah, you go, wow, you took a chance on me with that. And they go, well, I saw you doing so-and-so. You go, okay, cool.
So the key to getting great work is do lots of work.
Lots of work.
That's it.
That'll do it.
Killer Clowns.
Hi. What was your favorite puppet or animatronic dinosaur from Jurassic Park?
Well, it wasn't the Dilophosaurus. I tend to like smaller ones and ones that are dry.
Yeah. That's good. Good question. Thank you so much. Yep.
Hello, Mr. Knight. I actually was going to ask about the Basic Instinct scene, but this is a family-friendly crowd, so I figured I won't go there.
I won't go deep into it.
I know. Well, I just remembered you were in that movie, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's in the back of the room and he's sweating, and I'm like, yeah, I remember that scene. I was going to ask about how you feel about not being involved in since there's a Jurassic Park renaissance, with the sequels and everything, and they killed you off in the first movie.
I don't understand it, frankly.
I know.
This is
I think it would've been
sci-fi. Michael Crichton is dead. You can bring, I could have an eye patch and one arm. It was a small dinosaur and a big meal.
Yeah, you survived it. You survived it. You survived it. The can of Barbasol, where did it go?
Come on.
Come on.
They brought back Dodson, for Christ's sake, and he'd been in prison for many years.
Yeah, I think B.D. Wong's been in all of the movies.
Yeah,
so far,
I mean, there must have been some way in a flashback.
You need a flashback. Yeah, so I wish you luck.
I don't mind. I seldom come back, but in anything by nature. But I think that the reason is that I'm kind of like jalapeno peppers in a specific dish. You don't want to eat it every week, but it's interesting when you get it.
Yeah. Can I get one more? Can you do a Jerry, please, for me?
Hello, Jerry.
Thank you.
I can't believe they brought back Dodson. Nobody cares about Dodson.
No. No.
Yes,
They brought back hatchlings.
Yes.
Hatchlings for the damn Dilophosaurus.
They came back. Now, as in Basic Instinct, how many times did you get to shoot that scene?
Oh, well, but ironically, when you see me
Separate rooms.
projectile sweating and whatnot, the camera is right here. There's a matte box 2 inches from my face. There's a wide-angle lens, and they are on me. She's a rumor.
Yeah?
Yeah, so, I mean, all of that is in my head.
Okay, because it's not back then they didn't have all the people there to keep people safe. So sometimes on sets things happened, but on your set, totally separate.
Oh well, no. We shot the scene, but when you bring the camera around, the only way that they could shoot, it's like when you're doing dialogue with another actor.
Right.
Sometimes the camera will be in tight to you, and you're normally talking one-to-one with them. But in this scene, they have to shoot you from their point of view. So they can't be where they were.
Right, where the
they
camera
have
is.
to be somewhere to give you, just to talk to you, but you're looking in the camera. And that was the situation.
Amazing. Next question, please.
First off, I say the thing all the time at work. And then, is that actually your voice?
Yeah, I don't recall recording it, and we didn't have AI then, so I guess it is.
And then secondly, where would you see Nedry now if he actually survived Jurassic Park?
I would see him trying to sell tiny homes.
He ran through all the money.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, good.
This is many years ago, but I loved you as Stan in Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
and I
thank
just wondered if there were any good stories from that set.
You know, what's amazing is I was living in New York when I got that job, and I had to, and another actress and I was playing a small role, had to drive, to someplace upstate to do it, and then come down to, and we're in Lake Lure, North Carolina, and I was excited to be in the movie, but I had no idea. This seems like this is not going to go anywhere, And I remember hanging out with Jerry Orbach, and Jerry Orbach is just the greatest guy in the world. He's one of these guys who's like a racketeer kind of guy. Like, hey, how you doing, pal? And he
Broadway actor,
Yeah.
television actor, amazing.
And he can beat you at any game in the world. Pitching cards into a hat, playing pool, throwing a basketball, whatever you want to do. And he was doing the New York Times crossword puzzle in ink in 20 minutes. And he had invited me to come have a schwitz with him when we got back to New York, which is a steam bath. You come have a schwitz? And I'm like, okay. It was just like, and we were in a dry county in Virginia at this time, and Jack Weston, the character actor, and Kelly Bishop, and there's no alcohol. So they send this truck to another state that comes back with like boxes and boxes of vodka that comes into this dormitory that
Have to make the actors happy.
But all of the actors and all of the dancers are all staying in this one massive building together, and then the truck arrives. So it was a fun movie.
Thank you.
Make your actors happy.
Hello, Mr. Knight. I am a Jurassic Park fan, and I really liked your role in it. I just wanted to ask, what made you want to get into acting, and how did you end up starting?
Well, it happened in high school. Actually, I had done a play in like first grade or something like that, but I got paddled because I was in the wrong place. So it took me a while to get over that. But then I was in high school, and I was in a speech class in like sophomore year in high school, and I had to come up with some funny speech, and people laughed. Right. And I was like, wow. And everybody afterwards said, that was a good speech. And I was like, oh. And so my speech teacher said, why don't you audition for the school play when it was a one-act play? And I'm like, all right. And I auditioned for it, and it was an older guy, and I had to put gray in my hair, and I liked doing it, And so there was an audition then for the local town theater, the Dramatours, and it was like for some little small role as a guy who delivers, cleaning or something. And I got it, and I was like all excited. And we're rehearsing at this playhouse, and these people from the other high school. I mean, there's a small town in Georgia, one high school. The other town had the other high school. And one of the girls from the other high school was also working on a play, and we're trying to get props down from this place, and she turns and she kisses me. That's it.
That's it? Life-changing?
I'm in the theater. I'm not going back. This is where it happens for me. So that was it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a great story. This is the 100-year anniversary of National Speech and Debate in high schools.
Well, I thought it was the 100th year of that kiss.
No, you're younger than
I'm
much.
a little old, but I
Next question.
I actually met like Wallace Shawn several years ago at another Indiana Comic-Con. What was it like working with the rest of the cast of My Favorite Martian?
Oh, I didn't really work with them. I was being the voice of Zoot or whatever the unnamed voice of Zoot. I didn't get. I'm not there. It's like doing an animated film.
But were you at the premiere?
No, because I was under wraps. You're not supposed to know who did it.
Oh, so good question.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, we just have about a minute and a half left. If the one thing I wanted to share is you have something big coming out, but you can't share it yet. Can you tell us where we should be looking?
Well, in the winter, a film will be coming out that is part of a franchise of very popular films. In it, something horrible will happen to me.
Just what we love to watch.
I think you'll enjoy it.
And where should we follow you? Do you have social media and any of that?
I do, and I try to avoid it as studiously as possible. So I would suggest you send a letter to the Dead Letter Office, marked Newman.
Yes.
It'll get to me.
Are you? Funny. And right now, if people want to follow you here, you're going to be out at the table signing photographs and taking photographs and signing their objects, and you're excited to meet people?
Oh my God, yes.
Come up to his table. Everybody, Wayne Knight.
Thank you, everybody.